We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for this special report.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody! Awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a bat,
looking
I
at
don't
the
know, my
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
best
boils
rising
over
star
like,
in
oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you was just a fuck up real bad. Shut up.
Be the villain! And I have no problem at all, because I couldn't care less if you like me or not. I'm here for success, and there's no one more successful than Grayson Waller.
Yeah! Let me talk to you. War Games.
Good evening, good afternoon. What's up? It is I, the Export JEDI Kev, with Chris. We are here to discuss some wrestling here on This Week in Wrestling, the Royal Rumble Recap Edition. First and foremost, good afternoon to Chris. How are you?
Good afternoon, Kev. Good afternoon, everybody watching Sports Jedi Network. It was a crazy, crazy night. Lots of opinions going around, lots of thought. We're here to give you ours, and I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about from last night's Rumble, guys. A lot. So thanks for coming to watch it with us.
Absolutely. The wildest night in professional wrestling, and we're asking you, did it deliver, and did it set up the road to WrestleMania? So those are a lot of different questions that we have to ask and talk about and discuss. We want you to participate, two-way talk. And whether you're watching us on Kick, Rumba, Truvo, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram Live, and on X, we want to hear from you. We want a two-way talk. We want to hear your opinions. This is a place, if you want to come on and rant, you're more than welcome to come and rant in the chat. If you want to come on I don't open up the forum. You want to come on screen and come on and join our podcast tonight or this afternoon all you got to do is ask. I'll provide you the link. You come on and you want to rant and give your thoughts here on the Rumble. My ask the Royal Rumble, did it yeet for you or was it a no yeet? So we want to find out there. First and foremost, I want to go in first. And we're going to get to the Rumble. I want to talk about the build. I understand I kind of were a little bit concerned with Netflix on their build for the Rumble. We saw a lot of teasing of Punk possibly winning the Rumble, Cody Rhodes with Punk, they kind of whet our appetite, and WWE totally swerved us. And I'm okay with a good swerve, Chris. We thinking it's Punk. We're thinking it could be the tribal chief Roman Reigns. We're thinking it's going to be Drew McIntyre and so forth. And lo and behold, we get Jey Uso in it. And first and foremost, I know everyone is going bananas, right, wrong, or indifferent for Mr. Yeet Man himself winning. Let me put that picture out there. There you go, pointing to the sign, winning. First and foremost, I'm gonna give you the floor. What's your thoughts on Jey Uso becoming your Royal Rumble winner?
My thoughts on Jey Uso becoming your Royal Rumble winner. I'm not upset about it like a lot of these people online are. It's that simple. Jay gets a lot of criticism. Even I gave him the early criticism, during the early Yeet days where this guy's just a tag team wrestler. This guy just has 2 or 3 good movesets. The reality is he's stupid over with the crowd. There's no denying that. you know, sometimes it's good for these swerves, like Kev said. That's one big reason why I didn't mind it. I think everybody, if you could gamble, you can't gamble on WWE, at least in Pennsylvania. But if you could, I'm 100% guarantee you the three odds would be, or the three top picks would be Cena, Punk, or Roman Reigns. The fact that we didn't get any of them, but the fact that we still had John Cena in the final two, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys were there in the playback, if you guys go rewatch it, I didn't know who was gonna win at that point. And I appreciate Triple H giving us that, because then the last two Rumbles, especially the last two Women's Rumble, were kind of predictable.
Very.
Very predictable. It's this year especially. So, you know, and I was disappointed with Logan Paul coming out of number 30, and we'll talk more about that. But for this to be the end, it did not bother me. I'm a fan of Jey Uso. I've gotten the privilege to sit in a suite when they come to Hershey and watch him come out right in front of me through the crowd. And he gets us going. He gets the Yeet, you know. There's whether you guys like it or not, there's stuff there with Gunther. So it doesn't bother me. Congratulations to Jey Uso. It was a good swerve that we haven't had in one of these big events in a long time. So congratulations, Jay. I think he's going to pick Gunther, and we'll see what it's going to go from here. But there's so much more possibilities still, even without Punk, Cena, and Roman. I mean, we're seeing these storylines in the Rumble could play out to WrestleMania. So we just got to be patient. We got to give Triple H, you know, some more trust, some more credit for last night. I'm excited. I don't have a problem with it at all.
Look, here's what I appreciate. I enjoy Jey Uso being made. This is Triple H making his guys, pushing his wrestlers because if you look at it, Punk, regardless if you like or don't like him, he's part of the McMahon era. Vince McMahon. Cena is coming to an end. Roman Reigns, you know, Vince McMahon said this is the guy that's going to feed our, and this is said by Bubba Ray Dudley, this is the guy that's going to put food on our tables for the next 10 to 15 years. And doesn't mean that's not wrong, that Triple H has to abolish Vince McMahon's creation and drive it to the studs and break it down. No, he's trying to put over guys that he sees go night in, night out, and just gets the crowd over. What was the main complaint 2 years ago? Oh, Roman's never around. Roman never defends the title. We never see him. And by guest and panelists that I had on this channel used to come and bitch and complain about Roman. We don't ever see him. Take the title away from him. The finicalness of the wrestling fan. Well, now Triple H is pushing to the main event status, or giving us, or you know, showing us that anything could happen in the wrestling ring, like in any given Sunday. A Jey Uso becoming a main event, becoming a headliner, a opportunist to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Doesn't mean, look, just because your favorite doesn't win doesn't mean that the event was garbage, was trash. It was different to not what you didn't expect it. It was Men's Royal Rumble was very good. It was better than last year's Men's Royal Rumble, in my opinion. I liked it this year's more than last year's Royal Rumble. And that's what you want in a wrestling show. Get better from year to year from what, you know, it's like, wow, what a moment. I mean, we had some great moments. We had the TNA World Champion, Joe Henry, come out. You know, that was awesome moments where, you know, yourself had him on the Jericho Cruise. I said, you know, he might be on the Jericho Cruise. Maybe he might show up at the Rumble, and today he's taking a plane to Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, and show up on the Jericho Cruise there when they report. You never know. You know, Joe Henry shows up. Great showing. I got to see him in the ring with Roman Reigns. I got him see him with the heavy hitters, with Sheamus. And to me, Joe Henry belongs. I go, yeah, he belongs. He wasn't underwhelming. He wasn't, you know, the fish in a big pond that looked lost. He looked it perfect. I like Joe Henry. Yes, here's the one things that I did not like about the Men's Royal Rumble. And I don't know if we agree or disagree. I don't need, you know, kudos to his eye speed, getting speared by the shit out of by Braun Breaker. Great job. But we didn't need you to waste that pick there. You know, we could have gotten Randy Orton maybe in that spot, you know, not at that number spot, but that entry spot. Or we could have gotten, unless there's something, you know, later down the road for Omos. You know, he's been getting built up in Japan. He was in Indianapolis. You bring Omos there. I mean, you know, him, you know, we talk about moments, him staring at Jacob Fatu, you know, who knows, all those things there. But we wanted to, and I understand why they did the eye speed, because Triple H said it on his media scrum that he had over 1 million plus people watching and yada yada. Okay, you want the eyeballs. I'm not gonna get too ballistic. For me, that's not my cup of coffee. That's all. And I'm gonna say, and I don't want you to come out and say, don't be hypocritical, because if they ask me to be there and take a spear from Braun Breaker, I'm not. I'm a 42-year-old man that's not gonna go there and get it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna get out of my element. It would have been great if you. Hey, I don't mind being backstage. I know my limit, but if the kid did it, hey, kudos. Check. You know, God bless him. I'm not gonna get mad. What was your dislike of the men's rumble?
I'm gonna start. I was gonna start with that point you just brought up. I show speed in the rumble. I'm 22 years old, guys. I watch these guys. I've been watching Kai and Speed before they were as popular as they are now. And for me, it's not my cup of tea to see these two worlds collide. Now, they're not streamers like us, like all these other people who do wrestling content. These are people that are from outside worlds trying to come into this business for what? I mean, I've said this before. Kai's buddies, you gotta know who they are. If you know, you know. I won't say names. They have done streams in the past, or have done stuff on their stream where they review WrestleMania 41, and they review WrestleMania 40, in Philly, and they review like all the big stuff with Roman, and they laugh and they make fun. Like Kai's boy, again, I'm not gonna say his name, was sitting front row posting on his Snapchat, and he was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like these aren't people that generally give a shit about wrestling. I know Triple H wants to make it seem like, oh, these guys are big fan of the business. No, they're not. No, they're not. They want the views. They want the publicity that WWE.
The clout. They want the clout. They want the clout.
They're not like bad, but I still don't like Logan Paul, and I'll get to him in a second. But with these influencers getting spotlight like this, it bothers the shit out of me, because we could have saw an actual wrestler have an actual moment with one of these people in the ring that we might have not seen, probably won't see ever or for a long time. So that bothers me. One thing that also bothered me as well, Logan, why the fuck couldn't Logan Paul just enter the Rumble at like one of the early 20s? Why did he have to come in at number 30? The thing that sucked about it is we knew the last three. Because Priest still had to declare, LA Knight had declared, and Logan Paul had declared. So right there, your last three Rumble entrants weren't a surprise, because we knew who was going to be it because of this declare. They need to fix, or they need to limit the people that declare for the Rumble, because it no longer makes it a surprise on scenarios like this. What I liked about the Rumble, I'm done being a negative Nancy. Let's talk about what I liked about the Rumble. Again, the surpriseness with Jey Uso, Penta and Rey being 1 and 2, having the Lucha Libre moment. Us Latinos fucking loved it. Kev has been saying that for probably 2 weeks, that was going to be the starting two. So that was good. I enjoyed Joe Hendry having a moment with Roman Reigns. I almost called him Bronson Steiner. Braun Breaker having a moment with Roman Reigns. 2 second-generation wrestlers, have a lot of history, 2 big dudes. I mean, I don't know. Did you see Roman Reigns help Penta do that little move on Jacob Fatu? Like, there's stuff in this Rumble that we won't see. Like, that's not on your bingo card. And I loved it. I love that about the men's Rumble. But they could do a little better jobs with, limiting the people who declare. Be more careful of who you put in and who you don't. Don't give a spotlight away to somebody who might not deserve it. But overall, guys, again, it might not have been the guy you wanted to win. People might have showed up that you didn't want to show up. It was still a good Rumble, whether you liked it or not, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you there. Even if it wasn't your favorite or the person you want to go over, it was still a good Rumble. Don't get me wrong. You know what? I kind of appreciate that they didn't put an aging veteran to waste a spot. Yes, I understand. We just went on the I Speed that didn't like I Speed, but that's one. So 1 out of 29. When it comes to, like you said, the last 3 entries were predictable, but here's where the swerve came. The entries might have been predictable, but at that spot, at that moment, after number 30 was in, did you have an idea who was going to win the Rumble, though? That was the unpredictability part. So they kind of swerved us because they gave us the predictability. Oh, I knew that was Logan. Oh, we knew the reigning 30. Wow. But then the finish was the unpredictable part there. So they got us there. They got us. They did the 3-card Monty on us there, which was great. And it seems like they have no problem having the NXT women wrestlers in the Rumble, but they didn't have the men on that one. And we could talk about that right now with Tony. Absolutely. Let's go right there with the men. If instead of I Speed, just think about 67 or 70,000 people saying whoop that trick. They missed out. Remember, wrestling is about giving us moments. It's about giving us moments that we captivate and remember with a certain event or certain venue or a moment in time in history. Now, I don't know, it might have been too much because would it taken it away? Maybe they figured maybe we don't want 60 or 70, 67,000 plus chanting whoop that trick because it would have took away from the fatigue of the Yeet. But if you I don't think so because you had Penta and Ray first. Then you had Joe Henry everyone got massive pops. In the men's, there were no pop spots in the men's. Even Logan Paul got the heat that it deserved. I Speed got the heat or this chase that he deserved. It was either or some people, oh damn, they all got pop. They got a reaction. In the wrestling business, either you get heat or you get ovation pops. If you get nothing in the middle, that's when you are worried. When you get no reaction, no pop, that's the worrisome there. But there was some great moments. I wish they, whoop that trick would have been phenomenal. Or just think about the 60,000 plus come out with the whoo, and Obafemi just pouncing down, walking down like that behemoth that he was at the Rumble, and then him and Jacob Fatu, boom, look at each other. Maybe not yet. Maybe WWE saying not yet, tranquilo. I'm not blowing my whole load here in 2020 at the Rumble at 2025. Maybe that's the WWE telling us to hold off, a little bit of a patient. We got a lot. We're not, if you eat too much of the prime rib, you're gonna get indigestion, so maybe that's what WWE's doing. I could appreciate that, but I would have liked it Ethan Page. You're telling me you're gonna give me an Ethan Page in the Rumble? I would have liked to see that there, but they should have had Trick come out right after Jay. They would have collaborated well. Yeah, you had that. You had so many, LA Knight came out later because that was also a big year movement. That was huge in Indianapolis. All in all, the men's Rumble, they gave us moments. You saw Roman and Seth Rollins taking out everyone, kind of working like the Shield. And then they went at it with each other. Great. That's about WWE Men's Royal Rumble. And the Rumble itself gave us those moments. It gave us those little moments for a moment there at a time with the storyline. Now, here's the negative part. Although I don't think it's negative. I think this is fabricated. There's reports that Drew McIntyre at the end of the Rumble kind of left the arena really upset, bothered, saying someone went into business for themselves. What was the exact quote there, Chris?
I wanted to get into that at one point of the show, but a new report came out about 2 minutes ago. I don't know if it's been repeated, but Drew McIntyre was set to be left fuming with actions of one individual in the Royal Rumble last night who was accused of, quote, trying to take center stage while Drew McIntyre elimination was due to take place. So what I'm understanding is somebody was trying to take Drew McIntyre's spotlight away during a when he was trying to get eliminated. Bunch of these dirt sheets, Warner Bros. Discovery, Fightful, they're all confirming, quote unquote, that Drew McIntyre has a legit problem with somebody backstage. He actually was fuming backstage when he got back. So I don't believe dirt sheets. I take accountability of, I think about what I think happened. And if this is true, honestly, I don't blame him, because if this was about Logan, or or if this was about, maybe somebody. I don't know. Again, I'm not the booker. We're not the booker. We don't know what was supposed to happen. But as a viewer, I can see maybe that spot. But again, no one's mentioned specifics. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to play about backstage stuff that happens because we don't know.
This is all speculation. This is all speculation, Chris.
That's why I don't really say about it.
It's coming from two guys that are known for getting a lot of stuff wrong, and kissing or brown nosing the competition. All Elite Wrestling. They're big. They get their nose so jammed up All Elite Wrestling's ass, and now they're putting out there. Now they want to say pretty much, there's a backstage issue in the WWE. Look, it's not just our AEW that gets issues backstage. Drew McIntyre. To me, that's what that is. Yeah. I'm not gonna give it any more thoughts. That's just like trying to say, look, they could do the same thing here. To me, it's bullshit because he's going to have Drew McIntyre is going to have a program with Damian Priest coming, and that's why Priest was moved over to SmackDown. That's all. It's part of storyline, but they want to make it seem like the company is this disarray. They can't stand each other. There's dissension in the locker room. There's not a happy place, not a good work environment. Stop. What do you get out of it? What do you get out of it? Just enjoy the wrestling, man. Just enjoy it. We're just. I'm not even going to give that fandom there on there. All companies have backstage. All companies have backstage drama. But I don't think it's something to go right away, Maria, to go and, this is, reported immediately. Like, what do you get out of it? Because even the CM Punk and Jungle Boy, Perry, what do we got out of it? Got a guy fired or what was that? I mean,
what did we get out of that? Oh, we got AEW taking a fucking downhill spiral. Look at where they're at because of that. People like Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer who leak shit like this, they don't know that this could really ruin, this could possibly ruin someone's reputation. What about those internet fans?
Do they love their business?
Right, but what about those the people who sit there on the internet, right, and actually feed in, subscribe to these dirt sheets and actually, care about that shit? Those are the ones that, they're going to be giving opinions and this and that because the people backstage reporting it, they don't know, that could damage somebody's reputation, damage somebody how people think of them when it could not be even true. The CM Punk thing, the main people involved have NDA signed. Who really knows what happened and what didn't? That's why, to me, talking about this backstage shit just does nothing but actually does nothing at all. I don't even nothing but it does nothing. It does nothing.
We just wasted 5 minutes of nothing because even if we say or disagree or agree, it's about making money. And now you know what? Even if that starts drama, guess what? Now they kind of blur it into the storyline. We got taken because we're over here. We're the one here losing countless nights of sleep because we're thinking that this is oh my god, he's not happy backstage. They're dissension, they're crumbling, and meanwhile they're all getting paid and they're all laughing because they work in even the dirt sheet riders on that. So all companies have drama, absolutely. Not everyone gets along. Look, the best companies in the world, I'm pretty sure in your job tomorrow when you get to work, there's stuff that you don't like or vice versa. So she's correct, Maria. There's always drama or issues in everyone's company there. One thing that I wanted to talk about the Men's Royal Rumble, Bret Hart. Yeah, look at that, Bret Hart. Yes, perfect example, Maria. Perfect example. Bret Hart and HBK, and that one was animosity heat by both participants. Did not like each other because one was seen rising up in the ranks and the other one was the guy who waited so long to finally get the rings at the company, and this guy was how the other guy ascended so quickly, and all that stuff and all that drama. You know the history. It's perfect example, Maria. Very good on that one. I love that one. Very good, very great on that one there. Let's talk about this. What's coming out. We kind of hear at the media scrum Jay call out Gunther, where I don't want people to think it's a diminish of the. I don't want the world heavyweight title to feel diminished. Oh, you see, he went after Jay, who went after Gunther. No, because there's a storyline. Gunther couldn't beat Gunther when he was Intercontinental Champion. If you remember, right before WrestleMania 40, he had that match and lost. Also, he couldn't get that World Heavyweight title on Saturday night's main event. It was a freaking banger of a match that they gave us on Saturday night's main event. He didn't get it there, but then he's going to take a third shot by winning the Rumble. I'm coming for you, Gunther. And there's a storyline where Gunther says you're only a tag team champion. All the words that Gunther told Jay. Now Jay wins the Rumble because now he goes, I'm not just, yes, Jay is finishing his story. Yeet. I'm going to give you the yeet with that one, Maria. That was a good one. There he went, and he's going to try to finish his story. I love that. But here's the one thing. What's going to happen with the other half of the main event or the other undisputed world title? We saw Cody Rhodes defeated Kevin Owens in a freaking banger rematch. My goodness, talk about violence for Cody Rhodes. With Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, a perfect opponent there. Kevin Owens' 7th world title matchup for him. And again, another loss at the Rumble. But all in all, Kevin Owens put on a hell of a match there with Cody Rhodes, and to finish the Alabama Slam that just folded him. And Cody just gets the title belts. What's your thoughts here on who? Because we got Elimination Chamber coming up in March. We're assuming by what we saw at the Rumble between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, that triple threat there. I'm intrigued a little bit if we go WrestleMania. If this is something I'm going to put out there, if I had the creative pencil and we saw WWE tease this before with last year's WrestleMania, where WrestleMania Night 1 has stipulation for Night 2. Wouldn't be surprised in that triple threat. The winner faces Cody at Mania. Night 1, you're going to have Roman, Punk, and Rollins. Winner goes on the Night 2 to take on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and Cody might have a match with Cena at Night 1. So Cody might have to do double duties. Would that surprise you? Let me ask you guys, wrestling fans, would that surprise you if they were to do that, Chris?
No, I don't think so, because it makes sense, right? Unless you don't have CM Punk enter the Rumble and don't give him a chance at a world title, at Cody's world title. Again, I'm speaking right now as of Jay picked Gunther because I think I'm telling you what's gonna. I think
he did say on the media scrum.
So he's gonna pick Gunther. Now this is what kind of gets me like wondering here. So John Cena's whole approach, the way he approached everything last night, didn't take any questions, sounded very serious. I'm wondering I wonder if he's gonna end up fighting Cody at Mania, because he sounded very like, I'm winning. I'm telling you guys what's gonna happen right now. I'm entering the Elimination Chamber. I'm winning it. I'm becoming the 17th time champion. That's what I think is good for business. He didn't sound like he was doing a promo. Like he sounded like legit John Cena was telling us, like, this is what's gonna happen. Like, I'm tired of the disrespect. Like, not disrespect, but like, I'm tired of not, like, I put so many people over. I let Solo beat me last year. I haven't had a win in so long. I'm doing it. This is my last year. It's about me. He sounded very serious. He didn't take any questions. That's very unlike John Cena. So for that's giving me a little speculation there with John probably winning the Elimination Chamber, fighting Cody Rhodes. However, if we go to your scenario, which I do really like it, I would not be mad if they did that at all. I would see Punk winning the triple threat, and this could finally be his way to main event of WrestleMania, because with Punk not winning the Royal Rumble, that, like, Jade not winning the Royal Rumble for you, Punk, it worries you, even though, Punk's not missing, but that Punk not winning the Royal Rumble worries me in the sense of, is he ever gonna fucking main event of WrestleMania? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think both scenarios are up for grab. I think both scenarios could happen. Just the way John Cena's approach last night in the media scrum kind of has me wondering, like, is everything gonna happen?
All right.
Because it's John Cena. It's not just any guy doing a promo. Like, John Cena's telling us. So yeah, I'm curious, but I'm stuck on that for now.
All right. I mean, that's fair. I'm not saying this is going to be there. I'm not saying this is what I think they should do. Again, this is me just speculating. This is just me if I had the creative pencil, guys. I don't expect everyone to agree with if I had the creative pencil. And of course, maybe people say, thank God you don't have the pencil. That's fine. But it's fun. It's fun because we're not going to agree with everyone's thought of watching wrestling. But this is the way if I had pencil and I would be creative, Cena wins the Elimination Chamber. But then it's still that unresolved issue because somehow in the Elimination Chamber where it comes to Punk, Rollins, Roman, they just don't eye to eye. There's something there missing. They don't like each other. They have it like, they want to give us that 2-night speculation. Look, Cody wrestled 2 nights last year. So did Roman. You put in The Rock in there last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that this year in Vegas. Winner of night number 1 goes to wrestle for Cody if he successfully defeated his title against John Cena in night 1. Now here's the way I would put the finish if I had creative pencil. Roman and Seth is about to curb stomp Roman, boom, or Punk. Here comes the tribal chief is going to go for the pin, but Heyman screws Punk screws Roman because of the fake cash in the favor, gets in the way, pull the leg or whatever, and then Punk wins and goes on to the night number 2 because that's still that storyline there, that favor. Because what's the favor? It's not like Roman. He's gonna ask if he's gonna tell Roman, or what is it the favor? He's gonna tell Jey Uso to give his WrestleMania spot to CM Punk. No, that sounds lame. That sounds weak. It's got to be something devious where Heyman turns or grabs the legs of Roman Reigns when he's about to break the pin. Punk hits the GTS on Rollins, and here comes Roman to break the pin, and he grabs Heyman gets in the way, grabs his leg, or just stands there and doesn't allow Roman to come in, and it's over, and then that's the favorite cash. I don't know. I'm just saying, going with that, but interesting there. And that that's just for down the line. That's just for talking. Let's talk about last night's Rumble. Let's get back on track. That's just a little bit side note there on that. And Tony was like, yeah, there was no Solo Sikoa. Me with this Rumble for the men, I was worried. No Randy Orton, which it really didn't need it, guys, because it was so loaded. Randy wasn't going to win the Rumble if they were going to go with Uso. But still, we would have liked to seen him in there with all the heavy hitters and all that stuff. I get it. I got it. I understand it. No Solo Sikoa either. It makes me worried to wonder what they're doing creatively with Solo. That's the one thing I am worried. There's 2 wrestlers that I'm worried about the way the direction of what they have is Solo Sikoa and Jade Cargill. And let's talk about the Women's Royal Rumble. The Women's Royal Rumble was the most predictable Royal Rumble. But sometimes predictability doesn't mean it was an exciting ride to get to the predictability. Look, I know I'm going to go, if I'm going on a ride to Space Mountain in Disney World, I know the ride is going to end. And I know I'm going to go in all the turns and drops, but I know it's going to come and end once I go through the lights of tunnel and boom. I get it, but I'm still going to enjoy the ride. So I'm going to tell you, the Women's Royal Rumble, I enjoyed the ride. The whole Women's Royal Rumble was phenomenal. I got to see a lot of NXT representative from Roxanne Perez, the longest in the Royal Rumble, over an hour and some change. I got the graphic here. Give me your thoughts on the Women's Royal Rumble.
For the second year in a row, the Women's Royal Rumble was the match of the night in the Royal Rumble event. I thought last year's was a little bit better, but this year's was phenomenal despite the predictability of Charlotte Flair winning. A lot of NXT representation. I know I had I only got back into NXT a little over a year ago, maybe a year ago, but I've been following a lot of these women that were in the Rumble, and to see them finally get the spotlight, it was good. They got a reaction. I don't want to hear people say that WWE main roster fans don't watch NXT, because at this point, that's bullshit. Bullshit, because Joe Hendry arguably got the biggest pop of the night. He hasn't appeared in the main roster. You all cheered for Jada Parker, which surprised me, not because of what's going on, because of how many people in that stadium watch NXT. So, and a lot of and Vakir, Julia, everyone. So don't give me the shit that nobody watches NXT because they do. That I enjoyed all the. We had a moment NXT versus the main roster. That was so cool. I thought
That was dope.
I thought they kept up very well. All the women, if you look backstage, they all looked like they had the time of their life. From Natty getting eliminated right away, for her taking pictures of everyone on stage, like it was so good. Like being in the women, I feel like genuinely had fun last night. I can't say the same about the men. I think the women had so much fun doing what they did. Trish Stratus was not on my bingo card.
Neither was I.
She stood in there a little longer than I thought.
And she did not look out of place.
No, she did not. Because there was at one point in the Rumble where I forgot she was even in. And because she blended in with Eric, like punch. I was like, I didn't even realize I was like, is Trish Stratus still in this thing? Like, she was great. Shout out to Trish. She got a fucking pop. I mean, all the unks, that's all the unks childhood crush. So no, but and her, I'm not a fan of Nikki Bella. Y'all saw our reactions about it. But hey, did we expect Nikki Bella to come in at number 30? Hell no. So
no.
A lot of the women's Rumble was great this year. Good moments. I enjoyed it. The entries weren't as predictable. The only thing I thought that was predictable was Charlotte winning. Right? I didn't think the entries were predictable. I didn't think the 1 and 2 were predictable. I didn't think, even though we've had a lot of women declared, they came in random orders to where, like, is it going to be a surprise? Oh, okay, she already declared. Is it going to be we didn't have that for the men. So good job by the ladies. Second year in a row for having the better Royal Rumble. I enjoyed it. Now they have a lot. And the last thing I'll say before I let Kev go, now I'm happy for the women. Now they have Charlotte back, Alexa, Nikki, Becky will be back. They have Rhea, Tiffany. I mean, women's wrestling might have just picked up after last night. So bravo to you guys. I'm excited to see what's going to happen for the women in 2025.
Yeah, definitely. Me personally, the one thing I would have switched out, like you said, the 30 entry. It put her in an uncomfortable or a unsatisfying position to bring Nikki Bella out at 30. Listen, we were like, because we were like, we didn't want, it was a bad situation for her to be at 30. I don't know who the hell we wanted to be at 30. I don't remember, but it was her. It was like, we wanted Jade. I wanted Jade Cargill. There we go. Now I remember.
Because I knew
we wanted Jade Cargill.
I knew we weren't getting AJ, so I at least wanted Jade Cargill.
Yeah, there was some folks on our watch along. And by the way, if you're listening to us, we do watch alongs every wrestling event, every wrestling on the playback TV. Playback TV allows us to show the footage while the watch along is happening. While we're conversating and having a conversation, you get to see it. You're not just looking at us right now. Like right now, there's nothing going on but us talking. And of course, you see the nice background, but you actually see the event. So come join us on the playback. We used to be on YouTube for the watch along, but we want to show it. I know you guys want to see it too. Some people, want to see while it's happening. Sometimes and the great thing about last night's Royal Rumble, no one was ahead where we had spoilers. Like normally when we used to do it on YouTube, someone already knows who came in, and when we're all watching together on YouTube, some guys had their stream ahead of us, and they're like, and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, so you'll see. No, everything here on the playback was right instantaneously. We all got to react instantaneously as it happened. I appreciate that. I would have swapped. The one thing I would have swapped for 30, and she got one of the biggest pops of the night, and I don't think the crowd will be let down or boo if we would have got Alexa Bliss at 30. If Alexa Bliss would have came out at 30, the crowd would have not gotten let down, because look how she came out. Homage to the Fiend, where and homage to the Uncle Howdy, the Wyatt Six, where she came out with a new version of Lily Doll. I don't think the fans would have gotten disappointed or underwhelmed her at 30. And I hate that they put kind of Nikki Bella in that. And I understand why they put a Nikki Bella probably at 30. She's not conditioned to go that long. Or with the ring, cardio, if you put her at the spot as Alexa Bliss. So I understand how they protected her there, looking at it now and looking at it as a, I guess, a mature, responsible wrestling. If I were to be put in those boots, which, no. And my point is, put her at 30, kind of put her in a little bit of a pickle for Nikki Bella. But it was good to see Nikki Bella. I think Nikki Bella stays in the WWE now. I think she's going to be part of the roster. Man, I don't know for how long. I think she's going to be a performer. I think she's going to get the wrestling bug. I think she's going to stay wrestling. She's not old. And Trish Stratus, I was one like, but then when she won me over on the Rumble, you know, she went over without going over. I loved her in the Rumble. She was the Stratisfaction. She worked in there, worked so well. Great to see her there. Of course, me living in Orlando, Florida, Terrence going every week to NXT, me watching all the 2.0, being there in attendance week after week at the Performance Center. I was so proud of all the women and from the 2.0, from NXT era, from Lash Legend, from Vaquer, from Julia, to seeing Roxanne Perez and of course, Lyra Valkyria. It was great to see those women in there and performing so strong. And what's up, Luther? Salute to you. How you doing? And I enjoyed seeing all those ladies there, and they stole the show again for 2 years in a row. Yeah, the Women's Rumble, although predictable, was fun to see again the exchange between. And there's a nugget, guys. You missed out the nugget. You need to watch it again. The hug between Jordynne Grace, who now is officially part of the WWE roster, with Naomi, and the way Bianca snapped at Naomi. There, keep an eye on that nugget, because we remember that she came out kind of heelish there with like, what are you doing hugging this? It was like, ooh, you need to see that moment. It was a fracture of a quick moment, but that whole demeanor, because earlier in that night, we saw Montez and Dawkins come out to interfere in the 2 out of 3 fall matchup, kind of heelish, becoming a heel. So you never know where the Street Profits and Bianca could be turning their corner to a heel group. You never know. They're teasing something out there, because we never know what could be out there, Chris. So I don't know if you noticed that little bit of a nugget with Bianca Belair.
Did not even know that took place. And if that because they had Jordan and Naomi had their moment last year. It was cool to see them get another one this year, but yeah, keep an eye on that. I didn't know that. I might have to.
I wish I could. Well, it's on the playback. If you go to the playback on clips, you'll see that clip. Unfortunately, the minute I put it here on YouTube, WWE, it's copyrighted. You're not supposed to show it. I would have loved to show it. I like to show proof, but again, once you're on the tube, it doesn't allow it to show. So I wish I could show the footage, because we had it. I clipped it because that's one thing we're allowed to do on the playback. You could clip our moments. You don't have to go back and work on it and post it. I don't have to work. I don't have to pretend to go, like I'm surprised. It does it automatically. So you get a genuine surprise. Heather, what's going on? Heather, hope you're doing well. No problem. You on another channel, but I bet the other channel didn't show the footage. They didn't show the wrestling like we do, brother. So let's talk about that 2 out of 3 falls. Motor City Machine Guns taking on DIY. 2 out of 3. That is the Motor City Machine Guns first time on PLE. What was your thoughts on the Motor City Machine Guns?
On paper, it kind of looks like a sleeper match, and it kind of was for a little bit. That first fall, I would say, after that first fall, I kind of got a little more into it. If you guys go back on the playback, I wasn't too intrigued, just because. I mean, I had Motor City. I had the hope of Motor City Machine Guns winning the match, but kind of had a feeling DIY was going to retain. But the one thing I will say, the Street Profits coming out, it kind of makes them a little more legit. They're a heel. They got some boos. They're done getting cheered. I think they tried to go a little heel with Bobby Lashley. That clearly did not work out. So now this is their chance that was their chance for them to reinvent themselves as a heel tag team, and it worked. It was just the very beginning. That was their moment. They had their Royal Rumble moment without being in the Rumble. So kudos to the Street Profits. Again, the tag team division isn't great. but now it can be. Now they have another legit tag team with the Street Profits on the SmackDown side. So it was a match that we could forget about, not too interested in, but we got the moment from the Street Profits. So that was probably the best part of the match, in my opinion.
Now, I like what Triple H on the media scrum was talking about the tag teams. He's saying how they're revamping the tag team has been revamped in the last few months. With the Machine Guns, DIY. He mentioned Pretty Deadly. He mentioned now the Return of the Profits. The WWE, for those that have that stereotype or stigma, they don't push the tag teams. There is right there. We named a bunch of tag teams. Just on SmackDown alone, we even talked. He talked about Lagasa. He talked about there's a nice about 7 to 8 tag teams. So you're about 16 men that are there alone for SmackDown. Just think about the on Raw, 8-Town Down. So many different other ones as well. Moving over because they felt like they had a lot of tag teams. Although everyone is pushing that 8-Town Down is going to split, which is kind of teasing for NXT. But I like the fact that they're pushing that tag team on SmackDown, tag team wrestling. We'll see where that goes there with the Street Profits. Do they finally get the world title, tag title? To me, if they're going on the heel side, what does that do for Brandy, aka B-Fab? B-Fab is getting over, along with Meacham. She looks like she's going to be next in line for the Women's United States title. I wanted to see if she's going to turn heel or not, or is it Bianca joining? Because I'm having a hard time seeing Bianca turning heel, guys. Because when you see Bianca backstage, although WWE is not afraid now of blurring the lines to letting you know once you pass the gorilla curtains, it's another world. Once you go behind the curtains, it's a different world, reality. It kind of feels like they're going through like a hard world, a different world, because I say that because I see on Jimmy's Instagram when he's waiting for his brother with the T-shirt, Royal Rumble winner, and then Jacob Fatu's right there to give him a hug. Hey, I'm not gonna be the one. You can't do that. I'm okay with that because that's behind the curtains. Now the footage out on the TV, I'm not. You know what? It can't be that old man get off my lawn. I can't be that old man get off my lawn. It's their family. At the end of the day, you're going to be happy for the success of your family. Should they wait it? Maybe, maybe not. Who gives a shit? To be honest with you, at the end of the day, who gives? Their family. It's a tough one. It's a tough one there.
It's a tough one, and look, I could see where the wrestling in a wrestling fan in our world, kayfabe. First off, that shit's been dead forever. Give it up. For Jacob. A lot of you guys aren't familiar. When I mean you guys, I mean the wrestling space. A lot of you guys aren't familiar with Jacob before WWE. And if you know the story of Jacob, you would know when this kid was 18 years old inside of a jail cell, the first thing he saw when he got into that jail cell, when he looked up on the TV, and it was Jey Uso and Jimmy versus the Hart Foundation in a tag team match. And he said ever since that, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. Now Jacob Fatu got to have a crazy ass time in the Royal Rumble. Wow. I don't care. I love that they show that footage because when you know the history, it's a beautiful moment. I mean, Jacob, a kid in prison, looking up at the TV, seeing his cousins, saying that's what I want to do, and he's there when Jay wins his first ever Rumble. You can't help but love that shit.
No, I liked it. Again, shoot, Jacob could have gotten 7, 8 eliminations, but he just got 4. He was robbed too much. Hey, they presented him well.
I've been saying this since day one. Since there was announced that he was coming, he's going to be the next big thing. I've been a fan of him for years, and I'm so happy where he's at right now.
And I was saying yesterday on the playback when we were talking about the WrestleMania, like where are they going with this? Like, especially I still think that this WrestleMania in Vegas, they already got it's almost sold out. People are gonna go no matter what because of the pomp and circumstances. It's WrestleMania. to me, I think the big marquee matchups, the big wrestling matchup with names, is going to be. I'm not saying that this WrestleMania is not going to have marquee matchups. No. They're going to give you some good. They're going to give you a great card. But I think their big money making headline event is going to happen at SummerSlam. It's the first ever 2 nights, and it's going to be in MetLife Stadium on the heels of New York, New Jersey background. And I think that's where we're going to get like the real type of, I think they're going to treat it like the big marquee WrestleMania matchups that we were thinking we're getting for this WrestleMania. Although I'm not saying this WrestleMania is going to be poor. No, it's going to be phenomenal also. But I think they're going to really give you, you're probably going to get that. You think that's going to happen, Ron and Fatu at Mania. It could happen there, or it could happen at SummerSlam, Tony. I could see it could happen at SummerSlam, where that could be one of those matchups because you're building Fatu for that title. You never know. And I'm okay with that. If it happens at Mania, give me Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker. That exchange in the middle of the ring, that was another great one. Because I still think I think he'll finish with Braun Strowman at Elimination Chamber. I think that's going to get done there. Okay. If not, both men are in the Elimination Chamber.
I wouldn't mind that. I think Braun versus Fatu for the IC title would be good.
We'll see because I think SummerSlam is the one they're going to build it. Where I think if John Cena does win the Money in the Bank, which everyone is implementing or thinking that he might win, he'll be one of those honorable cash in at SummerSlam where John Cena says he's going to, instead of being that sneaky John Cena, he's going to come, he's going to announce, because he's the only man in history to ever announce when he's cashing in ahead of time to his opponents. Everyone else has done it in the sneaky manner, license to steal type of deal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Cena's the only one that announces when who wants to cash.
Have him win the Rumble have him win the Rumble. Have him win the Money in Bank and be like, all right, Cody, we're having the match, this, and this, and this. Let's go. And then build it up from there. I don't know.
Tony says, hey, we forgot to talk about someone who we haven't talked about. Who's that? Who's that? Who? I'm interested what's going on with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed won't be back, though, for a while. He still says he can't walk yet. He still can't put weight on his foot. He hasn't. Yeah, he's given up an update on that, man. I can't wait for Bronson Reed. You know what? He would have been pushed big time in this Rumble if he was there. I don't think he would have won it, but he would have been there with a lot of eliminations and a lot of that would have been great.
So, one thing I was surprised about the men's Rumble, I was surprised that AJ came back last night with his old theme song.
Oh yes, let's talk about that. Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about AJ because I saw some things. Could we get an AJ Styles and Logan Paul match? That's what a lot of people
would like to see that.
Because the thing about Logan Paul is so not to go back on the influencer stuff, but and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but let me give you context. If you know Logan Paul, you know that this guy is an athlete who can do shit like this. And he's actually in the Performance Center with Shawn Michaels and some of the respectable coaches in the NXT, learning the fundamentals, So for Logan Paul, I will actually give him a pass because he's not like iShowSpeed that just went out there. No, Logan Paul is putting the hours to learn the fundamentals. I mean, he saved Rey Mysterio's neck. I don't give a shit what you guys say about him at this point. He knows what he's doing. So he's had matches at WrestleMania with Seth. He had his first one with Rey Mysterio. He had a big match with Rey Mysterio, had a big match with Roman Reigns. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I think that would be a good match. I think this would be a good match for not only Logan Paul to get more credible names under his belt, but for AJ Styles to dip his foot back into wrestling after injury and putting a young guy over. This is a match where AJ obviously can take the lead and all that stuff. So I think AJ Styles would probably be my opponent, or Logan Paul and AJ Styles would probably be my match for him if I had the pen and pencil. But yeah, what did you think about AJ Styles coming back? Because we didn't talk about him at all, and I forgot.
I like to see him in the ring. I like the way he moved. He showed that his leg injury, he looks like totally healed. He did a couple moves there, and I didn't get to see a Styles clash though at the Rumble, but that's okay. He didn't get to do that. But that spot there when he was going to leapfrog and do the phenomenal forearm where Logan eliminated him, he landed on the floor, and I was like waiting and seeing, and no, he bounced like a spring chicken, like, whoa, he's good. Your first ring in action, and you could either tweak something or whatever. No, he passed that test. He passed that test with flying colors for AJ Styles. Good job for him. Logan Paul versus him will be a hell of a match. AJ Styles, Logan Paul, for him, the veteran, and you could put storyline behind it, because you know me, I like when they talk a little reality when it comes to a little bit of wrestling. Alex Shelley is his first cousin, so they're related. Shelley and Logan Paul are Alex Shelley from the Machine Guns.
Him and
Logan he's Paul. The one that trained it. Yeah, Google it.
I didn't know that.
They're relatives. That's how you get into wrestling business. Before getting into the league, he scrapped a little bit with Shelley in the ring, a little bit, got him prepped for the basics and fundamentals. And you could put it there and it was sucked for the Machine Guns to be heel. But right now, like Heather was saying, they're not AAA. They're not getting any reaction. Trips isn't pleased that the Guns fans aren't responding. So you know what? What's the next step? And I don't want to see it, but the next step for when a group or a tag team doesn't get any reaction, try the heel route. You're gonna get some type of pop. You associate yourself with a Logan Paul, you're gonna get some heel. You're gonna get some pop. You're gonna get a reaction with the Machine Guns. Now AJ comes back. AJ Styles gets back. You could bring the Good Brothers if Carl Anderson is completely healed or ready to, and you don't have to do 6-man. You don't have to do, but in case that, you could bring back the OCs, into the tag team fold back from injury, because they're going to take on the Guns. And we know that the Guns and the OCs have had matches in TNA and in the independent scenes that, rock the house. So just put it then on a WWE platform on a Friday night SmackDown. Now it's 3 hours. You telling me you're going to give me a segment with the Guns and the OCs? You're going to say no on a WWE production. You're going to be like, wow, people haven't seen really that much. They're going to go, what the hell? They'll steal the show, especially they're influencing with tag teams. But we'll see how that goes, man. I don't know if they're going to go that route, but they could. That's on the table. A lot of things are on the table there when it comes to the WWE. It's not just so vanilla. They're coloring outside the lines. They're not staying within the lines. That's what you got to appreciate with WWE. Some of us don't like it. Some of us do like it. I think you have to have an open mind when you're watching wrestling these days. Now you have to have an open mind, because it's not hitting to just everybody. It's not wrestling. The WWE is not for just one specific group of fan base. It's a little bit of everything. They're bringing the social influencers that we don't like. Some of us want the more heavy promo, storyline. They're hitting to that there. They're putting some hardcore matches. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're giving you a little bit. It's a variety show that they're giving us. Some things we might like, some things we might not like. It's like Baskin Robbins. There's 31 flavors of ice cream. We don't all go in there picking the same vanilla. We want a different. Some of us want to try mint chocolate chips. Some of us want to try pistachio. Some of us want to try pralines and cream. And that's what WWE is doing right now. To the wrestling world.
No,
the Motor City Machine Guns aren't getting over because of the theme song.
I like the theme song.
Do you think it's a theme song?
I don't think it's a theme song.
I'm a big proponent. I'm a big person that I think if the theme song kicks ass.
I personally think it's a little. I personally think it's a little bit of unfamiliarity with people. I don't think that many people, majority, I don't know, it could be maybe they're not too familiar with Alex Shelley and Saban. Maybe that's not why they're as hot. They're not WWE grown talent. I can't give you the answer to that. I just don't know if the theme song is the reason.
Or here's the thing. Could it be that we're conditioned? I'm gonna talk about myself, that we're so conditioned by the way Vince had us thinking about how to watch wrestling, not to reading really Vince. You could say Vince really didn't really emphasize too much a tag team. Like tag team wrestling wasn't really his cup of coffee. He had it. He knew there was an importance to it, but he didn't really emphasize the tag team. Are we conditioned as a Vince McMahon viewer of wrestling product not to care too much about the tag teams because you're the same pop that the Motor City Machine Guns were not getting or getting reaction were the Curie brothers as well and on Raw. I watched Julius and Brutus Creed on NXT like Luther when they were part of Diamond Mine. Those guys could go. Those guys are a hell of a tag team. And people start cheering them and going crazy after they get and see their in-ring. But their entrance and coming to them, they got no pop. Like, who the hell are these guys? They have to win the crowd over. The Motor City Machine Guns, the same way. You know, when they come in, when you're telling me after the match, you don't appreciate what they gave you in that ring by both of them. They were phenomenal in the ring. Both Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. But their entrance and their presentation, and also what hurts the Machine Guns, when they stand next to the WWE Universe, majority of the wrestlers, they look so small. Yeah. They like how, you know, like, man. But again, look at but I give you the Creed brothers. They're two big guys, two big, you know, steak eating, you know, meat and potato guys that stand right there in the ring, but they still don't get that same pop. I think us as wrestling fans, we've been conditioned not to really put too much or not to fall in love with tag team wrestling because we know that WWE is not really there. There's a limit or there's a plateau or ceiling when it comes to the tag team. They're not going to be main event in WrestleMania, although last year they were night one. My point is, they don't get pushed the way we think the tag team should. And I think we get that stereotype, or we put them in that stereotype or that stigma, and we limit them. And when I'm not going to invest too much because eventually they're going to break them up. Eventually they're going to turn on each other. They're going to split. Then I'm going to turn back on them. And I think Vince trained us as wrestling fans to watch it that way. And I think that's what hurts the tag team, because look at the Usos. Look at, you know, everybody was going to do that with the New Day. I'm glad the New Day did not do that. I'm glad the New Day did not split, and they kept together. Although they got rid of, you know, they went in the Biggie, but they kept Xavier and Kofi together. And I love the fact that tomorrow Monday Night Raw, they're going to feed into them not being in the Rumble. I guarantee that's going to be part of storyline where Xavier and Kofi are going to be so mad for not being in the Rumble. I love it. I love it because now it gives a storyline for in a 2.5 hour Netflix Raw.
I should be able to watch it tomorrow finally for once in my life. So hopefully tomorrow's good. I totally forgot about that. You know, they definitely got a lot of things to say with them not being in the room for sure.
Personally, I don't give a rip about Logan Paul. I'm glad that the Prime partnership was a failure and the product sucks. I mean, yeah, they haven't advertised it. They haven't advertised it. They took it off the ring. We don't see the Prime station either. They haven't advertised it. Although last night there wasn't a lot of advertising in the ring. I don't think the ring apron had advertising. If I don't remember, if it did. If it did, I think that's how much everyone was making a big conundrum about. Oh, I don't like the ads in the apron.
No, it had
I don't remember.
It had a bunch of logos.
I don't remember.
It had one in each corner and one in the middle. I can't read what the ring says.
Wait, I got a picture. Let's see if I got one in the ring. I don't have one here. No, I don't have one. I just got the Knights. Let's see the pointing of the. No, it doesn't. Tag teams in general needs a better storyline. We are going to get Punk calling out Logan on Raw. Oh, you think that's going to happen? Oh, they announced that, Tony? Did they announce that? Punk calling out Logan Paul? Yeah, Logan Paul's on Monday Night Raw. AJ Styles, although the transfer window supposedly comes to a conclusion tonight.
It was the two corners had Xfinity, in the middle was a Cricket 5G. That was a sponsor, Cricket Wireless.
I didn't even notice it, guys. That's how much people remember the first night on Netflix. I hate the ring. I hate the sponsors.
It's because it was Prime.
Second, Chris
was in the middle.
Okay. I didn't remember any of the sponsors. I couldn't really. Didn't really. And he goes, no, I was just assuming since he eliminated Punk. Okay, Tony. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there were ads. All right, but we didn't notice it. You telling me I didn't know what ads were there? Again, that's just us. That's just us going out of our way for. We get used to it. We get so blended in and so used to the ads on the ring on the apron that we, it's just like everything. You get conditioned. I think like that's what. And again, back to the tag team. That's what Vince had us convinced or conditioned not to really give two cares about a tag team. They're not going to stick around too long. They're not going to team up together. They're going to turn on each other. They're going to go against. And I think that's what's hurting tag teams like the Guns, the Creed brothers when they come up, Los Lotharios, because he also used to make them as jokes. But Pretty Deadly, could Pretty Deadly drop the disco ball and be more, that Pretty Deadly that we saw in NXT UK, please. They're still dressed funny. They still do all the Yes Boy and all the goofy stuff. But the disco ball, they never had a disco ball in NXT. They're not supposed to. They're not. You're trying to make them Austin Powers. They're not. That's not Pretty Deadly. They're not. That's not them. Chris, anything before we get going out of here? Before we say goodbye here, anything throughout the week? Other wrestling shows. We know we got something set up.
I don't want to switch gears, but I would love to talk about one thing real quick. Kev.
Yeah, go for it.
Kev, do you think it is safe to say that Roman Reigns and The Rock will not be happening ever? Because that's all I'm seeing on Twitter. And I wanted to get your opinion on it because we talked a bunch of
they want that now? They want that? No, that's what you're telling me? That's what Twitter wants?
They want right. So I'm just gonna read you a couple of tweets. I'm not gonna say the names, but I'll read you a couple of tweets. One tweet says, I think it's also safe to say that Roman versus The Rock is never happening. WrestleMania 41 was the last time, or WrestleMania 40 or 41 this year was the last time they could have pulled it off, and now it's over because The Rock didn't appear. This one said, am I the only one that thought The Rock was going to be Tozawa's replacement? No Rock, but we get Cody Rhodes or Logan Paul at 30. Yeah, so I mean, everyone, Rock and Roman's not happening. It's official. So what do you think? Do you think The Rock comes out at some point before Mania? Because everyone's saying a lot of the WrestleMania plans kind of depend on The Rock's appearance. What do we see happening? And you guys in the chat too. You guys are more than welcome to put it up. I'm curious. What do you think's happening with The Rock this year? Is he gonna?
I was gonna go grab it. I got the Rock toy right there. I got the Rock action figure right on the wall. I raised the people's eyebrow. I'm a Rock. I am to me, I love The Rock. Big guy Dwayne The Rock Johnson. To me, is The Rock telling the wrestling universe, fuck you. He's been using that colorful language. He wanted to do Rock and Roman last year, but the crybabies made him pivot. Then not only that, he's got someone on Sirius satellite radio slandering him and talking negative, so negative, calling him an egomaniac, just crapping on him 6 days or 5 days a week from 9 to 12. They're calling and just disparaging The Rock. These guys hear that. Agents hear that. The wrestling community hears that. The wrestling and the disrespect that Dwayne The Rock Johnson got last year, regardless of the fact if you think he was hijacking WrestleMania or not, it's a way I'm telling you know what? Like he told Cody, fuck your story. Now he's telling the wrestling community, screw your story. I'm not wrestling my cousin at this WrestleMania. Now, is it going to happen? SummerSlam. Again, I go back to SummerSlam. When SummerSlam is supposed to be the biggest, they're going to make it a big opportunity for 2 nights SummerSlam in New York, at the Meadowlands or MetLife Stadium. Aging myself. And I think they want to put headlines there. I think that's where The Rock will wrestle. I'm glad he's not doing it and you know what? Like you said, either we truck through or we pivot. And I'm glad The Rock is not going to give the wrestling fans that. Because also let Cena have WrestleMania moment. Let Cena have this WrestleMania. The Rock does what The Rock wants. The Rock does what makes money. Rock, people tend to forget. This man made himself a billionaire with $7 in his pocket. Everybody likes to crap on him. Everybody likes to say that he's selfish. No one was with him when he only had $7. Okay. And now he's a multi-billionaire. Remember that. Honestly, I don't think Dwayne Johnson shows up this year. I really think he's too busy with movie schedule. If he shows up, he'll only challenge Roman head of the table again. I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back to wrestle for this WrestleMania. SummerSlam, anything is possible. I think that's on the table. But I don't think WrestleMania 40 at Vegas is going to be there. I don't think so. I don't think so, Chris. I think Rock is giving that big FU to the wrestling community. Now you want this now? Now I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to give it to you.
I agree. I mean,
do you blame him?
I don't blame him, no, because I truly believe this would have happened last year if it was going to happen. They want to.
It would have been over already.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been over. They should have had the WrestleMania last year. Rock and Roman. Cody would have been your champion here at the Rumble. Okay, he would have wanted it bad blood in Atlanta and in front of his home stadium. Complete the story and home at the Omni where his dad wrestled for WCW. And they would have been there. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't 2 weeks ago we booed the shit out of Hulk Hogan and we can't stand Hulk Hogan? So meanwhile, you're okay, but you guys were all clapping that he kept the streak of the 1,400 days as world champion. You can't stand Hulk Hogan, but meanwhile, we had a chance for The Rock. We had a chance for Roman Reigns to break that record. And you know what, Hogan? We're gonna put you underneath. We're gonna shoot you away from the record books. But now Hogan is on the record books as the longest reigning post WrestleMania champion. It could have been Roman, but everybody wanted Cody to finish his story. Cody needs to finish his story. Yee! I wanted Cody to get the world. I'm on this. I don't let it go. I don't let it go. I don't let it go. Cody should have won it after he would have broke Hulk Hogan's. After Roman broke Hulk Hogan's record. After Hogan's record was smashed by Roman Reigns, that's the longest post WrestleMania champion. Cody let usher in the Nightmare era. That would have been perfect, but no, they wanted it now. Guy, a pensioner, 55-year-old man, on Busted Open went on a tirade, got everybody pissing, changed the main event. Now everybody wants. Oh, I don't know. We're gonna get Cody and Roman. I don't know. We're not gonna get Rock and Roman. I don't know. We're gonna get Rock and Roman. We had a chance to get it out of the way, put it away.
The same guy who is responsible for not getting us that match last year, Dave, and I tweeted at him today. He literally said a couple weeks ago, this guy goes on Busted Open and says, so The Rock and Roman Reigns are fighting this year. Oh. Go listen to Busted Open after the Royal Rumble that he dropped 10 hours ago. And David LaGreca says, and I quote, WrestleMania 41 does not need The Rock. Sorry, Dwayne. We don't need you this year. But you literally said a couple weeks ago that this year we're going to get Roman versus The Rock. But you're the reason, Dave, why we didn't get it last year. Like Kev said, this match could have been over, and everything Kev said, I agree with. I agreed with Kev what he said before I even became a part of the Sports Jedi Network, guys. I don't think to this day, that main event should have been changed. There was no problem with Cody Rhodes going to fight Seth Rollins, and I don't want to talk about last year because that's in the past, but it has to do with this year, because if I'm The Rock, I'm gonna be honest. I'm telling Triple H, look, you had the fucking chance last year, and
I think he did. I wouldn't be surprised if he says it. You had the chance last year, bro. Nope.
WrestleMania 40 in Philly, and you could have, instead of I had to work a tag team match. So fuck you. Like, I don't blame The Rock, but Dave LaGreca, you just got to make up your mind on what you want and what you don't want. Because you say
no, and you can't say we don't need The Rock, because if The Rock shows up, it draws eyes to the product. Even like Heather says, even if it's a cameo.
Fucking
the disrespect that Dwayne The Rock Johnson gets from you make it seem he gets like the Hulk Hogan disrespect. And Dwayne The Rock Johnson has never said anything negative or racist or whatever Hogan is being accused of, going into business for himself, crushing wrestling careers. All we see is Dwayne The Rock Johnson do, and they'll tell you who you are when the cameras are not around. How many stories we've seen The Rock come out, or Dwayne Johnson, not The Rock, Dwayne Johnson come out, and it has nothing to do with the wrestling business, but they see a person buys a truck for a person with a story, listen, or buy certain groceries or a house for certain people and so forth. Things that the camera, nothing to do with the wrestling business, but all in all. And meanwhile, he only does is come back to a business that saw him where he grew up in. Okay, with his father. His father was done shit dog shit in this business. The Soul Man Rocky Johnson was treated like shit in this business. Right, from Vince to all that, they were, and even you could even say a little bit of the Mayavias prior to The Rock getting over were treated like, the one that broke the barrier of the Samoan dynasty there, you could say was Rodney, aka Yokozuna, becoming the world champion with and Undertaker recognizing and becoming world champion going forward. The wrestling business, but prior to that, didn't treat the Samoans so great. They were always an entity, like an exotic animal in the zoo. They weren't the main attraction, And for the people to just put that disrespect on The Rock for when he wants to come back, I'm glad he's part of the board member. I'm glad that he's making millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars, part of the WWE, and they gave him all that creative on it. I mean, man, it sucks that because the guy decided to do movies and do the Hollywood. I mean, he wanted to make money where he doesn't have to be 55 years old or 60 like half of these wrestlers with their in pain. Look at, and again, poor. And by the way, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame, and I hope he gets into the Hall of Fame. Lex Luger, the guy is in in a wheelchair, man. This guy was the total package, regardless of the fact that it was self-inflicting, whatever the case. We're not here for that. But Rock had an opportunity to go do movies, so he don't be in a wheelchair. Look at Stone Cold. The guy wakes up in pain. Yes, because of the business. And you guys getting mad because he decided to do movies and go do wrestling, do movies. I mean, yeah, I'm a Rock fan as you. Unfortunately, Dwayne made a few bad movies lately, and everyone's jumping on the anti-Rock train. But who cares about it's a movie. It's like the wrestling. It's like wrestling. They had a terrible match. It happens. They have a couple bad movies, but do you blame him for making money where he doesn't have to put his body on the line and
it's retiring. Why
Cena's retiring for that reason.
He's retiring for that fucking. Why do you think Batista's not wrestling? He retired for that reason. Roman Reigns is next. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are next. They're not going to be the last ones either. Like, it's going to happen. Seth Rollins and you're signed tomorrow.
Triple H dabbled into that. Triple H dabbled into that world. Remember, he had a cameo. He was in that movie. He was in Blade. Triple H was in Blade. Hulk Hogan.
The Miz
tried to do Thunder in Paradise. The Miz with the terrible Marine movies.
But he has his own
Davey
show.
Alcee Jr. They all dabble into something outside of wrestling because at the end of the day, that is not mattresses that they're wrestling on. That is wood. That is piece of wood. That is wood with canvas apron that hurts their body. Yeah. Triple H can't act. I agree with you there. Yeah. I think the Pomeranian had more. The Pomeranian in Blade had more charisma than Triple H. Yeah.
What was the show that back in the day where I think it was a scene where like the little kid calls him, "Are you Triple H?" No. What do you want, kid? Like, hey, you're Triple H. Like he was a bad actor.
I think it's the Chaperone. Is it the Chaperone?
Something like that. I'm only calling it. I'm younger than probably most of y'all, so.
All right, so Tony wants to know the question: who is Cody Rhodes fighting at Mania? Because right now I don't know. Elimination Chamber. Because guess what? If and here's the reason why I think Jay picked Gunther, because Not only that, now you want to watch Elimination Chamber, because let's say Jay, I'm picking Cody. Will there really be that much emphasis for Gunther? Because they kind of make it seem like the World Heavyweight title is like a secondary world title. So then you're like, who cares who wins the Elimination Chamber? Because they're gonna fight Gunther. But now Gunther's already out of the picture. It's Jay. Now it's the big Cody Rhodes, the undisputed world title. Damn, I gotta watch Elimination Chamber because you got heavy hitters. Who is actually going to beat and wrestle Cody Rhodes? Could it be part 3, Cody and Seth, Cody and Roman? Could it be part 4, Cody and Seth Rollins? Could it be Punk and Cody? We never seen that matchup before. The former All Elite Wrestling top guys, all of a sudden now they're going to be headlining main event WrestleMania. You know, there's so many storylines that now leads into Elimination Chamber. John Cena, his last chance. Is he going to go against Cody? The past, you know, now versus kind of say the present of WWE right now going at it. They might, you know, that's 4. They could add another wrestler. Elimination Chamber is usually 5. A wild card, maybe, you know, who if someone can sneak into the Elimination Chamber that we don't even see right now. It's so many possibilities. Yep, she said on the chaperone, it sucked. I got Cody and Cena, but it's just me. I could see that there. I could see could be Cody and Cena.
Yeah, I agree with Heather. I think it's going to be Cody and Cena. Again, Heather, if you watched John Cena's approach, his tone last night during the media scrum, that's kind of that's where I'm at right now. I want to hopefully, because Cena said he might not appear on Raw, guys. Remember Kevin said whoever's in the Royal Rumble got a month to prepare. So I don't know. Right now I'm thinking Cena and Cody just for that, but you know, it depends if we see him on Raw before. It depends who declares, who's hot, what the story makes sense. But so far, I'm with Heather, Cena, and Cody. I think that's who Cena or Cody fights at Mania. And I think
Now, here's the one thing I'm going to tell. Here's the one thing I'm going to say. Even if the Elimination Chamber seems predictable, guys, let's see how we get to that How do we get to that predictability? Is the story here as a wrestling viewer. As me as a wrestling viewer, as a wrestling fan, and I mean, you could say us here as reviewing it or podcasting about wrestling, I want to see how they get us there. What is the story, the ride is going to take me? It's like, again, I mentioned it back to Space Mountain. If you're Disney, if you go to Disney, or you go Pirates of the Caribbean ride, the ride. We all know that the ride's going to end once we go through the big lights of tunnel in Disney. I want to see how you get me in that ride. How do you, the turns, the tops, the turns, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of the predictability that the ride is going to come to an end. And we don't know the outcome, but I want to see how you get me there. Show me at the Elimination Chamber on the different participants, the pinfalls, the storylines that's going to bleed into WrestleMania from the Elimination Chamber. That's what I want to see. I want to be strapped in and be taken on that ride at the Elimination Chamber. I cannot wait. Again, just because your favorites don't win doesn't mean it's not good. Did it touch the bases? Were you intrigued? Were you entertained? Did you again get entertained? Did you get excited or upset? Did you get a reaction, period? Good, bad, or indifferent. But if you got no reaction and you felt you would have had a VA better, you would have went and drank the VA juice, then something's wrong. Do we get Punk winning the chamber and beating Cody at Mania? Then Cena wins the cap. That could be it. Tony, what I love about that, when you said anything could happen, because Triple H is not trying to be like Vince. You know, Vince McMahon, you could see his 2 to 3 steps ahead of time. For years, I always should tell my sons, "Oh yeah, Ben, this is gonna happen." Boom, boom, boom. How do you know? I used to kid around to my kids. They were naive. They're gullible. Oh yeah, Vince McMahon called me and told me. I used to lie to them. You know, the kids are gullible. Yeah, me and Vince. I talked to Vince. Yeah,
that to me too.
Yeah, I was playing David Meltzer before David Meltzer became popular, making up and saying, making up stuff, and it will come true. You see, pay me $14.99, but it didn't happen. But anyways, I think we're gonna end that there with their. But you guys can subscribe to me and pay me $14.99. I'll take it too. So with that said, thanks. So much. But hey, but all serious notes, you guys were awesome on us on this Sunday afternoon. Royal Rumble, to me, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 to 9 because it was very entertaining. I loved it. It was entertaining. It was very entertaining from even the tag team matches. The ladder match for Cody and Kevin Owens, perfect. I like all that. There could have been some spots at the Rumble where, like I said, Alexa coming in at 30 instead of Nikki. That's all right. That we could, and Logan Paul at 30. But you know what? I think it got the reaction that you wanted. You wanted them to be 30 because you hated the chance that Logan Paul could have won that. And they got the reaction from you, Chris. They got you pissed off. They got all of us because we didn't want Logan Paul there. Oh, here we go. She says, "Oh, have a good rest of the day." By the way, y'all covering TNA full. I'm gonna try. I don't think I could go, Heather, but it's right there. I want to go to Full Sail. My son goes to school at Full Sail, so I'm trying to see if he gets like a student discount to get in there. But I will be here doing it. We've been doing TNA every week here, solid, because TNA is on fire. TNA is on fire. We are having a great time covering TNA.
I'm having a great time watching it. So yeah, we'll definitely. I'll be here this Thursday for TNA. So we'll
I'm trying to go myself because I kind of want to meet Mike Ortiz. Mike Santana. My God, look at me.
That'd be fucking. I'd be so happy for you if you met Mike Santana. And
I want to. Yeah. I want to meet Santana. I want to meet Mike Santana. I said if I go, I'm gonna try to get a big flag and I'm try to give it to him to take it into the ring. Yeah, if I get those tickets, I'm purposely trying to get to the aisle where I could give him that flag so he could go take that flag, a big one as possible, so he could wear it to the ring, man. I want to see Santana big time.
So fucking hard if I'm watching that show here. Oh my God, that'd be so cool. But yeah,
I make sure I wear the whole area. I'm like, hey, let's go. Yeah, I'm out on a TNA channel too over there. That's cool. Remember, we do the watch along. We show the TNA footage. We show the wrestling footage on the playback. So you have to go Playback TV. Playback is just like this application here on YouTube, just like Twitch. It's just Playback TV. That is also partnered with the NBA. So you can watch not just my channel. You can watch other folks that covers. If you're a fan of any NBA team, they have different channels of different teams where you could actually see the game with the host. I do a Knicks watch along. You get to see all the Knicks action. That's why you know how they see me on YouTube doing Knicks game. We have, every game because I rather show it to my subscribers and my viewers because guess what? We get to watch it together and react to what we see. So we'd ask you guys to come and watch along with us on the playback. It's not a spyware. It's not something that's going to hurt your computer, your phone. It's not going to intrude. It's just like this platform, just like the one that we are now. If you're watching us on Instagram, Twitch, or X, Playback TV is totally at no cost. It's free. I've got a couple of league passes to give out for if you like NBA basketball. We're going to have my other channel, Sports Jedi Network. And we have the Heel of the Ring. It's the Heel of the Ring channel on the playback. So I got two channels there, Play Heel of the Ring and the Sports Jedi Network. Sports Jedi Network is all your major sports. The Heel of the Ring is going to be pro wrestling and combat sports. So soon, UFC. We were, if Royal Rumble wasn't going to come on so early, we were going to do the Saudi Arabia card at UFC. But
it's good that we did it because Izzy got his ass knocked out in the second round.
I know. My sons were watching it. My son covers it for the channel here on the Sports Jedi Network. He does the UFC, but we want to now transition over on the Heel of the Ring when they have the UFC pay-per-views. We'll do it on the playback where you guys should see the pay-per-view and join us. So we got a lot of great things going on with the playback. We ask you guys to help us grow the subscribers. We appreciate it. We want to grow. We want to make sure the playback continues going. Again, it's powered by the NBA, or at least by they're partners with the NBA with playback. So it's not a spyware or I have people on X tell me, what is playback? I don't trust it. I'm not so sure. Well, playback, take a look. They're on X. They have their handles on Playback TV, and check it out. And we definitely would like you to come and watch.
You won't find anybody doing the wrestling on the playback like we're doing, by the way.
No, we're the only ones doing wrestling right now. We're the only ones there. So get in with it. And the great thing about it, it's by invitation. They check your channel, they see who you are, and then they invite you to become a member I'm the playback. So we were invited for the Knicks content creator, and then I opened up the wrestling channel, and we're off and running. So we definitely would like you to join us there, and we want you to be part of us, our network, our part. It's kind of we could treat it like a Discord as well. If we're not live, the chat is always open. You could always, you could go in there for breaking news and stuff. I always place breaking news in there and so forth. Oh, we got Christopher Jackson coming in, and let's go. What's up, Christopher? He's with us. Salute. Can you tell me? I don't know. Gonna be unknown. What you guys think of AEW is bad? WWE from 20. Right now, they're having a tough time, Christopher, with All Elite Wrestling. All Elite Wrestling, and it's not to pound on them and being so negative. They just pushing the wrong stories or the wrong wrestlers. John Moxley shouldn't be the main event. I understand he carried. It's like that guy that's holding on. It's like the bald man with a few strands of hairs that's still with the comb over holding on so he could see he's not bald instead of just embracing you're a bald man. And it feels like AEW is doing that with Moxley, putting him in the main event and embracing him as the face of the company, where you have other wrestlers that you could make and be face of the company. Seriously, it's just what it feels like. When you have a guy, you had a chance to make, and again, and it's not to compare two companies because everyone says, well, WWE has 40 years a head start. I got it, but Triple H has been in creative ahead, maybe 3-5 years, maybe, let's for argument's sake. And he's kind of like in there, the same position but he's once under a learning tree. That's fine. But Tony Khan has guys in there and he copy and pastes a lot of WCW stuff, but he had a chance, Tony Khan, to make his own champion in power hops, and he didn't. He could have done that. He could have shocked and got us. Oh damn! Shocking circumstances and put Powerhouse Hobbs as a world champion. He didn't pull the trigger, and it's okay if you try to. It's okay if you say that Moxley failed, but then you can always pivot and give it a Hobbs. And if that doesn't work, you change it again. You pivot again. You want people to come in and talk about you and gravitate to you. Here's another one. They have a lot of women that they could be pushing. Deonna Purrazzo, nothing. They have a woman there in their roster, 2 women in their roster that should be, being shown on TV, and they check the boxes. Why the hell is Queen Amidala not being pushed on AEW? Why is Queen Amidala not there? Why? She checks the boxes. She should be a one of your women's feature. But meanwhile they're giving Holly. They're giving what's her name? The one with now she's playing with puppets now. Harley Cameron. Why? Because she pulls her tits in like this. Come on, man. Queen Amidala is putting the work in. She's also work her ass off. Harley Cameron. Come on, guys. That's the problem with All Elite Wrestling. They don't give the right people who's earning it the right shine. AEW's trying too hard. Darby Allin decides to go at Mount Everest, but now you can't wait for Darby because Darby Allin sees the writing on the wall. They're not putting any emphasis on him on being a face of the company. I'm going to go fulfill climbing Everest because he knows that the con man is going to keep Moxley in place for a while. That like the guy that's holding on to the last strands of the hairs. When a person knows wrestling, and you know how to run a show and put the wrestlers in the position star Triple H, Khan does that. It is. Harry Cameron is comedic, actually, but yes, I understand she's comedic. She's golden right now. But you think Harry Cameron should get a push over Amidala? As Amidala's been eating crap in Dark Elevation, also in Ring of Honor, putting on good matches. Yes, I keep an eye on that on Queen Amidala. She does put on good matches. She's also, compared to Harry Cameron, she does circles around her. And for a company that wants to see where the best wrestles, well, here you go. You got a good wrestling Queen Amidala. Why are we not pushing her? I don't get it. You want to say you're wrestling, but then you're pushing comedy when you flip and flop when it's convenient to you. And that's what I think disconnects with All Elite Wrestling with the fan base, because you say you do this, but meanwhile your actions say something else. And that, yeah. I don't have time to watch MLW. I would like to look wrestling companies that I would love to watch: MLW, OVW, and I dabble a little bit of reality of wrestling. Those 3 companies, and I don't know where to find Caribbean wrestling where Mark Henry is in charge. I kind of would like to see that, but damn, I cover a lot of damn sports for me to get into all those different other wrestling companies. Look, I didn't even mention New Japan, and New Japan is being privileged. And Noah, you know, Stardom. I just can't. So much wrestling content, Christopher, that I wish I don't, you know, oof. Yeah, no, Amidala should go over. Yeah, Amidala should be one. And look, and I'm gonna even take you one further. Forget about Queen Amidala right now. After I just gave her a bunch of flowers, a bouquet of flowers, I'm gonna give a whole entire garden of roses and flowers to the one and only who should be the face of the women's division, is Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale, she's babyface. She's merchandise, babyface, written money. He smells like pure dinero. Cash, you know, if you know how to market her correctly, she's little girls will love to be. That WWE gets a hold of Willow Nightingale, my goodness, they'll make her money. I think they'll make more money. They'll do more good with Willow than they'll do with Jade Cargill. Be honest with you.
Yeah,
Willow, she's got that smile. She's got that charm. Little girls want to see her like, ooh. Willow Nightingale should be the face of the women's division.
Absolutely.
And meanwhile, they have her. What are we doing? What are we doing? And they have the proper heel to get her over. They have Mercedes, the proper heel, a great heel to make a Willow Nightingale be the face of the company and totally make money off of her merchandise and get a new face, a new audience of little kids, little young girls wanted to be Willow Nightingale, the good old baby face there, but they're too busy doing other stuff. They're too busy showing us Yoshida and this and that who no one knows about and really can't get invested and don't care about. And also, you can't put women and showcase women at 920 for 10 minutes and think you're going to get that whole division over. That's another issue. That's another issue when it comes to All Elite. If Vince was running still the show, Brock would still be champion. Cody would not be in WWE. Jay would never be a singles. And Triple H was created so much. Yeah. You know what? You're probably correct. You're probably correct. Willow will be the next wrestler. I hope so, Tony. And again, and that's not because I want to privilege or take away all the wrestling talent from AEW. But if she's not being used there to her full potential, and not market it and show her how to make money. Look, all these wrestlers in the wrestling business, they're all in there to make money. They're not there about being. I don't think if you could probably ask maybe 100, and I think 70% of those wrestlers that are in there, they probably wouldn't give a crap about holding a world title. Yeah, they're gonna make more money, but that's exactly why, because they're gonna make more money. They're all in there to make more money. Generational changing money, where they don't have to have $7 in their pockets, or they have to, deprive themselves if they're going to go get a piece of steak or they're going to pay their light bill. They want to have money. It's all about making money. Look at Chelsea and Matt Cardona. They're building a brand new house. And Matt Cardona, an independence wrestler, and making his own wrestling company, wrestling toys company, because of wrestling. Because at the end of the day, it's about making money. It's about making money. And if they're not utilizing these wrestlers where they can make the most money in merchandise, and look at, perfect example. He leaves All Elite Wrestling. The guy sells out his mask in 10 minutes.
They didn't do it. They didn't fucking do it. Just like WCW didn't sell Ray's mask, AEW fumbled the bag with Penta.
But meanwhile, they'll sell you a cheap looking hologram mask.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, it's crazy.
They should be.
It's crazy. Go ahead.
They should be selling that. They should be selling Taurus's mask. The man beast, whatever they call it, Taurus, whatever they should be selling those there in AEW. Meanwhile, again, where is the guys that they hired that were podcasters like Will Washington? What the hell you do there? What do you do there, Will? You were one of us here bringing these ideas, and you're there now, and all I see you is giving comp tickets to Denise Salcedo and the other people to come to the show to hang out with you, because you should be putting these ideas to the con man, or with the merchandising and all that stuff. You know you have the ears of the podcasting, of the internet community, of the YouTube and all that. You were one of us. You're in there now, and now you're doing shit with your time. You're just playing buddies and bringing your friends along. It's like if I were to get acquired by WWE, Chris, guess what? Come on in. I'll give you a free ticket. Come on. Yeah, you go. That's it. Make it happen, Will. You got some time. I'm calling you out because you were in our position. Now you're in there. Look at all these different. You had these ideas. We heard you before. You had these good ideas. That's why Khan hired you. But now you're not doing anything. You're not putting forward what you used to talk before.
I've not heard anything about Will Washington contributing to anything with AEW. And I think the people that get close to Tony Khan, for for they use AEW and for the leverage for themselves, for their own for money, for them to build up their own platforms. Because I guarantee you, he's just sitting there and catering, literally doing nothing. I mean, I don't understand why Tony hired this guy in the first place. He's not, because the problem is he's not going to listen to anybody. He has guys back there already, like Jeff Jarrett, like Tony Schiavone, he had a fucking chance to get Bischoff. Cornette wants nothing to do with him anymore. There's so many people that Tony's could have had that, for under his umbrella that he could learn from right now. Instead, he's deciding to put Jeff Jarrett out there instead of, hey, come back here and help me make this show. No, I'll put you out there and you can go get a world title. What the fuck, man?
Jarrett should be helping him. So much that I hear about Dustin Rhodes. He's out there stooging, but what for the Ring of Honor tag team titles with Sammy Guevara? Sammy Guevara should be another wrestler who should be pushed in that company. You did this whole thing and you were going good there. And that was an originality plan. I think he did that after Cody left with the 4 pillars. You know what? That kind of, I'm going to say that was smart. 4 pillars. But it turned out to be that Raj, Kutapali, Sheldon, Leonard, and the 4 pillars are freaking the Big Bang Theory. Ended up being your 4 pillars because they're the only ones that drew in that company. Instead of having, seriously, you should have gotten that 4 pillars and done more. You should have put it again. It's so much mistakes with them. It's just so hard. It's so hard to try to get behind there. Anderson, Bobby Fish, EU Faction, Rogue Horseman. Oh, that's the MLW. He's telling us about MLW. Let me read that real quick because he went out his way to write. He went out his way to write this tweet, and I want to acknowledge it there. I enjoy every promotion in 2025. It's going to be amazing. I don't know if y'all watch MLW, but it's some fun storylines. Cesar Duran, Selena De La Renta. She just came back from maternity leave. That I know because Selena she goes to school. She used to go to school with my son over there in Full Sail. And of course, Alex Kane with Eric Bischoff. Yeah, I know Bischoff is there from writing with them, and I know if Bischoff is there, he's going to do a good job. Don't be surprised if Heyman takes over AEW and turns it into something. I don't think he's a Triple H guy. I don't think he's going to leave Triple H. They'll do whatever. They'll move heaven and earth to keep Heyman in that company. They know Heyman goes to All Elite Wrestling. He could turn that around. I don't think Triple H would be stupid enough to or TKO above to do something that dumb to have Heyman leave. Only way I can see that if Triple H leaves himself, or they remove Triple H from, and they fire him and remove him from creative, and then Heyman's like, you know what, screw this place. I'm not going. I don't see Heyman. Never say never in the wrestling business, but I don't see him running over to All Elite Wrestling. That's a reach. That's a tough one. That's a tough one there. I mean. I don't see that. I mean, whatever happened to the big picture with Shane McMahon? I thought Shane McMahon was coming over there, pal.
It had that meeting.
That was just
with wrestling, by the way.
Had nothing to do with wrestling. That was just him putting out a picture let's stir some shit up.
Or they had a business meeting that had nothing to do with wrestling.
Had nothing to do with wrestling. Remember, Tony Khan owns football teams. He owns a soccer team with his dad. They have other stuff. Shane has businesses in Europe and stuff like that. And other ventures where he makes money. That could have been a business meeting that did. Oh, by coincidental, they been in the wrestling business. That's all. To me, that's what I see it.
Or they were talking and coincidentally somebody took a picture of them.
Shane McMahon, it should have been in the Rumble instead of Speed. I mean, that would have been a nice one. All right, let's find out. Since we're talking about AEW, since we're talking about All Elite Wrestling,
oh god,
I think the WWE just shot fire right now by putting Evolve on Tubi on Wednesday nights at 8:00.
Is that the show with Bubba Ray and Undertaker and Mickey? Like the
no, like that's LG. That's Legends, Futures, and Greats. LFG. That's coming on an A. That's coming on an A&E. That's coming on A&E. That's like a Tough Enough, where inspiring wrestlers. Evolve is like it kind of taking the place of Level Up. These are wrestlers from the NIL who's going to have their first television matches, or the WWE ID program, who are going to wrestle on television. If I'm assuming, this is going to be taped in front an hour before NXT on Tuesdays. Like I used to go for Level Up, and the first hour of Level Up, the first hour being at the Performance Center, was recorded for Level Up, and we will watch it on Friday instead of Tuesdays. I think Evolve is going to be done that way. Evolve is going to be taped an hour before that with storylines and everything, and it's going to be given on Tubi on Wednesday nights. I don't think it's going to be a live program. I will find out more details as it comes out, but with the announcement of Tubi now, which is under the Fox umbrella, by the way, Tubi is owned by Fox, where a lot of people like Swerve Strickland was saying we're gonna have Shockwave, the new show on Fox. I don't think that's happening. I don't think Shockwave is happening for All Elite Wrestling. I don't think they're gonna give another show, a third show, where ratings continue to decline for that company. Wouldn't be surprised if they condense it to one show Wednesday and make it a 3-hour show and take away Collision, because I'm interested to see the numbers of Collision last night with the Rumble. That's gonna be a horror show. I'm expecting 210,000 to watch that show, and because Royal Rumble, with all the people that were in the Rumble, you think people were gonna watch Collision? You're gonna have your people that are anti-WWE that will watch Collision, but Chris, let me ask you this: do you think it's gonna hurt the WWE, the AEW audience with Tubi on Wednesdays?
Depends. Depends what. First off, I'm telling you guys right now already, Tubi's a free platform. Like there's no subscriptions. Like there's none of that. You can go on Tubi and whatever's there, you get to watch. So that might be something, an advantage point for them. Yeah, I mean, it just depends what stories they have going on, how many people are posting it online, how many people actually want to look into it. I think people might be interested in something new for a Wednesday night. I know a lot of day one AEW fans like myself are starting to get kind of tired and bored on Wednesday nights. So that could be something new to check out at least. Maybe in the beginning. But yeah. And Chris, I never wanted a wrestling company to go out of business. I don't care.
No.
Dude, I'm the biggest GCW hater in the world. And I'm not like JEDI. I don't wish for them to go out of business. Because at the end of the day,
right,
guys like us have something to talk about when PCO goes out on GCW and smashes his Disma Media title. That gives us something here to talk about. So I don't want to get that out of the way. I don't wish a company to go out of business at all. But with AEW, I'm not wishing them to go out of business because I'm a day one fan. Obviously, it's just there's so much to be pointed out. There's so much going wrong to where I at this point in the company, it's hard to really find a positive. But that doesn't mean I'll ever sit here and say like JD, I want AEW to go out of business, because that's less wrestling content for us to review. So
correct. And why would I go on a rant of pushing Queen Amidala or Willow Nightingale if I hated it? I'll just be quiet. Why would I give you a suggestion where you can make money and turn things around? Why would I do that? I would just say, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job. We want to see, change it up. It's not working. That's all we're telling you. It's not wishing. Now, we didn't say like JD, that he wishes the company goes out of business, you know, dies. I mean, that's a little bit harsh for them, you know, for AEW.
I wish the death of AEW. That was.
Yeah, I heard it. I've heard it. I heard it. And it's funny for a guy who blocks people on X for disagreeing in the past about anything AEW. I never had an interaction with JD. I just thought I liked something for someone who didn't like, and I was blocked by him. Who cares? I mean, I have not lost, even though I have bags under my eyes, but it wasn't because JD blocked me. It wasn't because of him. It was so. But you got to be careful, man. When you spit up, you got to be careful because the saliva comes jumping down. So JD, you be careful. You did a lot of spitting up, and now you're reaping a lot of saliva in your face.
Bully Ray told him, he said, JD, bro, you're gonna run into one of us one of these days, and you're not gonna have that same fucking energy when
and he's an announcer for, I believe he's an announcer for GCW, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think he does commentary for.
JD from New York might be some mark just like us that sits behind his computer and talks shit. But the dude's been on wrestling, wrestling TV as a commentator. Like, he's been around.
Yeah.
So like, but still, he's nowhere. He does not have credibility to be wishing the death on the company.
But here's the thing, Chris. If credibility or not, you say he's been in the wrestling business. Commentary. You could pick up a dog could pick up a few tricks. He's trying to get over. Mm-hmm. He's trying to become the heel, because guess what? He got a reaction. Regardless, he's got the reaction of the AEW diehards saying, "Oh, you wishing the company? I wish you get fired from. Oh, it's from House of Glory. Okay, from House of Glory. Yeah, he's correct. I believe it's House of Glory. I think it is. HO.
Oh yeah, it was AOG or HOG. Yeah,
it's House of Glory. You're correct, Christopher. Thanks for that correction. You know, but he learned something from the wrestling business. Get over. If you're out there giving everyone flowers and becoming a positive and being, or you know, a positive Nelly, or yeah, I love this. I agree. This was great. People are gonna go like, ugh. People like the reaction of some negativity or criticism, regardless if you agree or disagree, because people like the lightning rod. People like the lightning. People hate, you know, they gravitate to that, the negativity or the negative condensation, or they don't know if it's constructive or hate, and that gets people's attention. Because if you hear someone saying, "Oh my God, I love that collar elbow tie up from Rock," and that side Russian leg sweep that Roxanne Perez does every time, she executed to a perfect T, and she drops down, and I love her way how her opponents tuck the chin in without hitting the back of their head, and my goodness, into the transition. No one wants to hear that. They want to hear, you know, oh my God, you know, look at that spot where, you know, Logan Paul slipped on the rope and botched. Man, this guy should he really be wrestling? He's going to hurt someone. That's what people like to hear. That's what it's all about. JD is not bad. People take him out of content. Yeah, I mean, he's that guy. He found his niche as an entertainer, as a heel. He found this niche where you're not gonna like him. If you want, even if you don't like him, you still want to hear. Howard Stern said it. 90% of his listening audience back in the day were people that hated him, listened more than people that loved him, because they wanted to hear something where they could ridicule him and get the pitchforks out. That's why he was so successful. And I think JD from New York, as I say, JD Martinez, JD from New York gets that. And I think and I don't know if he did it on purpose or he just happened to step into the biggest pile of shit of luck. But either or, I'm gonna give him
he was the biggest AEW glazer. Before, you couldn't say anything bad about the company. If you said anything bad about AEW,
you couldn't.
He'd tell you to go fuck yourself. Look at what Vince and Triple H are doing. Now it's he oh my God, his world just took a big 360 one day, because all of a sudden everything flipped, and now it's fuck you, Tony Khan, fuck you, all that. But yeah,
but I guarantee he's gotten more popular. He's gotten more popular because he got you hooked on the negativity. That's all it is. He got you hooked into it on that and changing his stance.
Yeah. To be fair, some shit he says.
And I'm gonna tip my cap. They tip my cap. He's working the gimmick. Live the gimmick. If you watch Young Rock, when Soul Man Rocky Johnson used to tell Young Rock, when he goes, "Live the gimmick, son, live the gimmick," and he's living the gimmick. That's all it is. He's living the gimmick. I don't blame him on that. So and he wants you telling me he doesn't want AEW to be good? If his show is if AEW dies like he says, there isn't going to be all those people listening, watching him, because guess what? There's a lot of WWE people that does content that people go to and listen to. When Raw comes on, that he's going to lose half. All those people that hate WWE are not going to go to JD New York when he's doing a Raw only or WWE only content. They need all the lead. Like we said, we need all the wrestling. That's why I said I would love to get into OVW. I did an OVW review for Independence on Blowout for OVW. I watched the whole show and I did a review on it. But I can't watch OVW the way I want to. I want to watch it every Thursday or Tuesday, and I can't. Guess what? Impact and TNA Impact Zone is on, and so is NXT. I can't also go back and watch it because I've also got basketball. We got live PLEs, and I got so many things. I would love to talk about OVW. I would love to talk, Curtis, certified Curtis. I would like to talk Cash Flow. I would like to talk all the OVW wrestlers. Al Snow doing a phenomenal job in OVW. It has a lot of roots to the WWE, where I used to be the performance center before the NXT before NXT began. There's a lot of history, the reality of wrestling with Wicked T. They're doing great stuff there. I can't. There's not enough time for me to consume it. So the more wrestling, the better. Look at that. I'd rather be in this position now that I don't know where the hell to talk about different wrestling companies that's going on than have only one or two, and that's it. Because then it's like it doesn't work, Chris. It doesn't work. When you have so many, you could be unique. Just think about we do OVW and we were OVW and we get that show growing and get the OVW on the map and become one of the first. I feel, and I'm not saying I'm one of the first ones, but I've been doing TNA since 2022. From the Queen, from all the pay-per-views watch-alongs. You could look at my YouTube video of all the different watch-alongs, and there's a lot of watch-alongs. But I go back with TNA to Slammiversary, the Queen of the Mountain, and I've been doing TNA watch-alongs, not Impact every Thursday like I'm doing now, more and more steady. But the TNA pay-per-views, I'm there. Slammiversary, all the Steven Seagal pay-per-views for TNA, all the different ones. I'm there, man. I'm there. I've always liked the TNA. Got into it. I would love to do that with OVW and other wrestling companies, but it's just not enough time, Chris. But with that said, we're going to say good afternoon here. It's going to be 5:00. You guys were great. You guys were awesome. This is a weekly show for us to talk about wrestling, chopping the bit. I thank everyone that joined us in the chat. Really love the two-way talk. Christopher, Mr. Samurai Luke, Tony, Miss Heather, appreciate you guys. Everyone that joined us, we appreciate you guys all. Maria, gracias, Maria. We thank you so much for joining us as well. You were awesome. Everyone on X, everywhere. We got Crazy 1600, Live for MMA, salute. And of course, the Architect 2228 on the Instagram Live. That's watching. I wanted to give them a shout out. Everybody on Rumba, everywhere on all the different platforms. You guys were awesome, man. Chris, say your thoughts here, and we'll hit the outro and call it afternoon.
I've enjoyed doing these weekly wrestling shows. This is our third episode now. We plan to continue to keep doing this. We usually do them on Saturday, but Rumble early start, we didn't have time, so I'm happy to do it now. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, everyone listening to Sports Jedi Network. This isn't fun without you guys interacting with us. We could sit here and talk all day, but it's fun to get some outside opinions in. So we'll see you guys for Monday Night Raw on the playback. So I'm excited. Thank you guys. It's been a great week of wrestling. Great week.
That's right. Don't forget, hit the like on that video here on YouTube and join us on the playback. Please, playback. It's Playback TV. We are the Heel of the Ring podcast. You search us, or you could just put WWE Wrestling with only wrestling content really on there that's there live every week. There's a few that done a couple here and there, but we're the most consistent in the playback, and we ask you to join us and help us grow the platform, help us grow the playback. We actually show the footage there. We want to continue showing the wrestling footage there and taking the wrestling watch along to a different experience, a bigger experience where we're just there, and we'll do the reviews on YouTube, watch the videos and watch the live event there and react. And then, and don't worry, I could clip stuff where we go and we don't have to wait. We don't have to force our faces on the reaction. The reactions are genuine, right on the spot when it surprises and all that. So we definitely appreciate you guys. So we'll be on Monday. Every time there's a wrestling live event, think of the playback because we're going to be there doing it. So we'll see you there. May the sports be with you. Have a good night.